All right, testing, testing, testing. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom. Okay. All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start it by saying Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers that are out there, pushing and spreading the truth. All right, the gospel of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, I just wanted to do a quick, video on the topics of like expectations, and what you call it, and on the people who survive on their so-called wits. Okay, now the title of this video is mentioned, when do miracles occur? And I put that title, that question out, for us to draw our attention to, to actually, like I said, to take our mind, okay, away from the fact that we live by our wits, okay, and that we live by our strength. And this is gonna be like just a quick another add-on. A lot of brothers have been talking about this Israelite brother right here that went to the military, and also the Captain Tazariak, when he said, he's going to take the shot to show people that, they ain't supposed to be afraid. Let me add it right now. This guy right here. And when Captain Tazariak took the shot, and he said he did it so that people will not be afraid. And, immediately you should know that the fear, okay, the bravery of the man of the Lord does not come from another man. It does not come from watching another man, but it comes from, the scriptures. Okay, it comes when you're trying to, boost the faith. Okay, and you trying to stir up the braveness, the bravado. Okay, and brothers, you don't go ahead and submit yourself to the devil. Okay, and then tell people that the devil ain't treating me so bad yet. Okay, that what the devil gave me ain't so bad. So, you guys shouldn't be so afraid. All right, it's not it. But rather, our mind should be on that fact that, no matter what the devil throws at us, the Most High got us. Okay, that's why the title of this video is that, when do miracles occur? Okay, so when you when you answer these questions in your mind, all right, shalom, shalom. Yahweh's warrior, shalom. I'm not Yahweh Bashim and Shabrakatha. When you keep answering those questions in your head, when do miracles occur? When do miracles occur? When you keep those questions in your head, okay, it takes away that thought, that mindset of, oh, I'm surviving by my wits. So should there be a time where I ran out of options, I run out of means by which I may go around things, okay, then you fall to the devil, okay? Because your heart was not in the Most High. Your mindset was that you live by your strength, okay? And that we're gonna try to. I just have a few precepts, and we're just gonna try to, like, what I'm gonna endeavor to do is that break that mindset off. Like, we should try to, what I'm gonna try to do is that we should by the end of this video, we should have, we should be able to throw away that mindset from our mind, okay? That way we may free ourselves, okay? And then our faith may even flourish even more, and then we may get closer to how about Shem Shai. All right. So an example of living by your wits, okay? Because there are some times in the scriptures where the men of the Lord actually live by, they live by being cunning, okay? David, for example, all right. I'm gonna bring out just one out of the many ways that he outwitted his enemies. I'm gonna bring out Paul, okay? Just those two, two, and then I'm gonna, and then also another more precepts on how the men of the Lord had no way of getting around things, but the Most High delivered them. Okay, should be simple enough. So, but when you look at David and when you look at Paul, okay, when they survived by their wits, when they were wise enough to get around certain things, they were also, it wasn't because they were faithless, okay? They did these things based on reason, okay? They did things based on reason, okay? When you already preach the word to them, they already got the word, all right? And they're trying to kill you, and you have a way of escaping from it. It's reasonable. You just take it, okay? But submitting to wickedness, okay, just so that you don't catch scourges, just so that just so that I guess just so you don't get scourged, it's off, okay, it's off. So I'm gonna show those two differences. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but those two instances, so that you understand that, okay, these things, I can do these things to maybe to get around scourges, but then if this thing prevents me from pleasing Yahweh Bashim Shai, I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so you just have to understand these two, and you have to know when to apply yourself in these situations. Okay, you have to know the difference between these two things. All right. So this is Luke chapter 4. Let me see. This is Luke chapter 4, verse 9. It says, "And he brought him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple." This talking about the temptation of Yahushai. All right. And it says, "And said unto him, Yahushai, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down from hence. For it is written, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee. All right. And in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. And Yahushua answered unto him and said, It is said, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from the season." So Yahushua, okay, from Yahushua, from these words that Yahushua spoke, we should understand that there are some certain situations where we're not foolish, okay? We don't put ourselves in a foolish situation expecting for the Most High to save us, okay? So, like I said, we have to understand these certain situations. So, Yahushua didn't have to jump, okay? He didn't have to jump off the building. He could just say, "Okay, I'm not going to jump," and that was it. It'll end right there. But had he been forcibly taken, lifted up and thrown off the temple, okay, and thrown off and thrown off that height, then the Most High will save him, because at that point there was nothing he can do. All right. Another example. All right. Another example is Second Corinthians chapter 11 verse 30. It says, "If I must need glory, I will glorify of the things which concern my infirmities. The God and Father of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which is blessed forevermore, knoweth that I lie not. In Damascus, the governor and the artist, the king, kept the city of Damascus with a garrison, desirous to apprehend me. And through a window in a basket was I let down by the wall and escaped his hands." Okay, again, Paul was able to read the situation and look, man, if I'm able to escape by a window, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm not doing anything that displeases the Lord. As a matter of fact, he had already been in that place teaching the gospel. Okay, and I said these things because later on we're going to see that Paul, actually there was a point where he would just escape death, and a point where he will face it head on. All right, he will face it head on. So this is Paul reading a certain situation where he escaped it by his wit. All right, but then again, I want to say it again for those that just joined, that when you escape by your wits, don't keep it in your mind that you only live by your strength and your wits. Okay, you keep it in mind that the Most High can deliver you when you run out of options. Okay, so that you don't turn out like this man right here. All right, so that you don't turn out like Captain Tazariak. Okay, all right. So this is First Samuel. This concerning David. This is First Samuel chapter 19 verse 9. It says, "And the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, and as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played it with his hand, and Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning. And Micah, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. All right. So Michal let David down through a window, and he fled, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair in his bolster, and covered it with cloth. Right. And when David sent messengers to take David, she said, he is sick. And Saul sent messengers again to see David, saying, bring him up to me in the bed, that I may slay him. And when the messengers were come in, behold, there was an image in the bed, with a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster. Okay. Again, David was able to read situations. Okay. And look, man, I'm going to take certain measures to avoid certain situations, but I'm not going to do so at the cost of, but he didn't do so at the cost of angering the Most High. Okay. This is Acts chapter 9. Right. Acts chapter 9. This is still going on until Paul escaping by through a window, by a basket. So we're gonna go on to show you how Paul, was able to applied his situation. We're gonna show you how Paul. Right. We're gonna show you how Paul, is able to tell different situations. All right, and how Paul applies his situation differently when he's gonna anger the Most High, and how he applies his situation differently when he's not angering the Most High. Okay, and this is all dealing with facing adversities. Okay, it's how you compose yourself during adversities. And when it comes to Vicky, okay, and Marcus, getting down with the devil is never a way to deal with adversities. It's never the way. Okay, so you must know these differences. Okay, you know not to jump in the street. Okay, and let a car hit you. You know to wait for the traffic light. All right, that's good. But because you understand that because you know how to not put yourself in a dangerous situation, it doesn't mean that to appeal to the devil you have to get down with him. All right, so that you can escape danger. All right. So let me get this one. All right. So we just read how David escaped by his wits, and now we're gonna get to a point where David run out of options, but the Most High saves him anyway. Okay. And this is the important part that people have to understand, that when you run out of options, the Most High does save you. So never get down with the devil. All right. I want to keep saying that over and over again, so that we really understand the situation that we're in right now. And also develop our instincts and our wisdom. All right. This is 1 Samuel chapter 23 verse 26. It says, and Saul went on this side of the mountain, and David and his men on that side of the mountain. And David made haste to get away for fear of Saul, for Saul and his army compassed David and his men round about to take them. But there came a messenger unto Saul, saying, haste thee and come, for the Philistines have invaded the land. Wherefore Saul returned from pursuing after David, and went against the Philistines. Therefore they called that place Salah Hamalakoth. All right, and David went up from thence and dwelt in strongholds at Engledi. All right, so Engledi or something like that. So like for not saying the name right, but like when it comes to the point where David wasn't able to deliver himself from Saul, what did the Most High do? The Most High had it to where the Most High distracted Saul's attention, okay, and had it to where he was saved right then and there. He didn't have to move a muscle. He didn't have to come up with a situation. He didn't have to negotiate with him, okay? Right then and there, the Most High delivered him out of it, all right? So this is one example of how, all right, of how the Most High saves you. Because the Most High, look, man, people underestimate the love that the Most High has for us. Whenever people underestimate the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Most High never blinks, man. The Most High, there's never been a point where the Most High accidentally let the men of the Lord die for vain. Okay, let the men of the Lord come to shame. Okay, there's never been a point like that. Every time the Most High has it to where we are always winning. There's always a game, man. Because Yahushua said, even in death, we are more than conquerors. The scripture says that even in death, we are more than conquerors. Yahushua said that the Most High has it to where none of us are going to lose, man. Even in death, we gain life. All right? So never underestimate it, man. Whenever you feel as if, not taking the Vicky will not getting down with Vicky will get you into a situation, understand that, the Most High got us, man. The Most High has our backs. And this all comes down to faith. And this all comes down to what? Faith cometh by hearing the word of the Lord. It all comes by to the scriptures. Reading the scriptures. All right. Watching videos. Listening to what brothers have to say. Keeping eyes keeping eyes and ears on prophecies, man. These all boost your faith. When you understand what's going on, when you're not blind, man. When you keep watch, you see everything that's going on, and you're comforted, man. Because not knowing, man, it's when you oblivious to everything around you, when you're oblivious to the scriptures, to the omnipotency of Yahweh Bashim Ashai, you always do stupid things. Okay, this is Acts chapter 21 verse 9. It says, and the same man had 4 daughters. Oh, Salah. Acts chapter 21 verse 10. It says, and we tarried there many days. Okay, this is dealing with Paul. There came down from Judea a certain prophet named Agabus. And when he was come unto us, he took Paul's girdle and bound his own arms and feet and said, thus says the Holy Spirit, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man that owneth this girdle, and shall deliver him into the hands of the Gentiles. And when we heard these things, both we and they of that place besought him not to go to Jerusalem. Okay, so now Paul has gone to a point where, because remember, Paul has previously escaped, okay, by way of he escaped adversity by fleeing. All right, and it says, but this time he was told of something that was going to happen, that was going to happen to him when he goes to Jerusalem to preach of the gospel of Yahweh Bashim Ashai, and they were begging him not to go. But Paul said, what? Verse 13 says, then Paul answered, what mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am not ready to be bound only, but also die at Jerusalem for the name of Yahweh Shai. Okay, for the name of the Lord of the Lord Yahweh Shai. And when he would not be persuaded, we see saying, the will of the Lord be done. All right. So see, at this point, because Paul can tell the difference, he's not willing to turn his back on a plow. Okay, just so he can avoid scourges, man. He's not gonna, do away with the word just so he wouldn't get caught, man. Just so he wouldn't be, he wouldn't be bound. Okay, and this is the what you call it. This is the mentality that makes the men of the Lord so precious. This is what makes the Most High, love you even more. When you are wise enough to know the difference, okay, between applying wisdom, okay, and also faith, okay, and believing wholly on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because had Paul turned his back on the plow, has Paul said, okay, now I'm not going to preach in Jerusalem, he'll be breaking the commandments that Yahweh Shai had charged the disciples with. Okay, so it says, so he went to Jerusalem. I'm just paraphrasing, and he got caught. All right, got bound, and the Most High and Yahweh Shai was keeping eyes on him every step of the way. All right, I want to get to that point. Right. So Yahweh Shai was keeping good watch of him the whole way, just always, because that's what he does to his men. Okay, and the scripture says that Acts chapter 23 verse 11, it says that night following, okay, when Paul was captured, when he was in captivity, okay, when he was in custody, what do you call it, of the what's his name, the captain, okay, Yahweh Shai came unto him the night Yahweh Shai came unto him, right? And this is Acts chapter 23 verse 11. It says, and the night following, the Lord stood by him and said, be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou bear witness also at Rome. Okay, so Yahweh Shai was actually pleased. Now, had he turned his back on Jerusalem and said, okay, because I'm afraid of death, because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to me, I'm no longer going to preach I'm no longer going to stand my ground in the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, what would have happened? Yahushua wouldn't be pleased. Wouldn't be pleased. Yahushua wouldn't be coming to him and telling him to be of good cheer. Yahushua might actually be coming to give him a threat. So the wisdom in knowing the difference between taking certain avenues to avoid certain things and standing your ground, okay, for Yahweh Bashim Shah to deliver you, is very crucial in this fight. It's very crucial for the man of the Lord to know the difference, because if you don't know it, like I said, you're gonna do stupid things. All right, and that was pretty much the whole video. I was also gonna bring out Second Kings on Elisha, okay, like in the thumbnail where bring it out. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 8, it says, and the king of Aram was at war with Israel. After conferring with his soldiers, he said, I will set up my camp in such and such place. The men of God sent word to the king of Israel, beware of passing that place, because the Arameans are going down there. Verse 10, so the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the men of God. Time and time again, Elisha warned the king, so that he was on his guard in such places. This enraged the king of Aram. He summoned his officers and demanded that, tell me which one of us is in the side of the Israelite king. Just so you understand, it was getting to a point where the king of Aram was making plans, okay? And whenever he seems to make plans, he's gonna go to this place, he's gonna go to that place, he was explaining his strategies. But every time the men of God, Elisha, will go to the king of Israel, and then he will relay that message to the king. So the king of Aram was confused, saying, hold up, wait, this is crazy. Who is out? Who is on the side of the Israelites? Who is a scumbag that's betraying us and revealing our plans to the king of Israel? All right. And he and his officer said, none of us, my lord, the king. None of us, my lord, the king, said one of his officers. But Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom. Okay. So this enraged the king of Aram. And this is what happened next. It says, the king gave command and said, go find out where he is. The king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. The report came back and said that he is in Dothan. Then he sent horses and chariot and a strong force there. And they went by night and surrounded the city. All right. When the servant of the men of God got up and went early the next morning, an army with horses and chariot had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord, what shall we do? The servant asked. Don't be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And this is extremely, these are very comfortable words, man. And you keep these words in you keep these words in your mind, okay? It's also gonna be beneficial to you. All right. So Elisha told him that those that be with us are more than those that be with them. Now the servants were panicking, because at that point there was nothing they could do. Armies have encamped the city, and you couldn't run to the left or right. There was no way you could go. You were trapped. Okay, so at this time they were actually panicking. What would we do? What are we gonna do? All right. And at this point, the Most High shows his power. Okay. Verse 17, it says, and Elisha prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. As the armies came down towards him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, strike this army with blindness. And so he struck them with blindness, as Elisha had asked. This is the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? Whenever you get to a situation, this is when the miracles of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai occur. Okay? So whenever you get into a situation where your mind, where your wisdom, where your resources can't get you out of it, don't fold to the devil, man. Don't do anything stupid. Don't anger Yahweh Bashim Yahushai by doing something something that does not benefit you, okay? Just so you can avoid what's coming ahead. And ultimately, there is the Most High that's bringing it in the first place, all right? So whenever you're stuck in a place where there's nothing else you can do, understand that the Yahweh Bashim Ashai always shows his strength. What the scripture did not he said that my strength is made perfect in roughly paraphrasing, that his strength is made perfect in weakness. Okay, so when your back's against the wall, when there's nothing you could do, when the battle is closing in on all sides, the Most High can just pick you out of it with his hand. Okay, and that is a love that he has for us, and it's in it throughout the scriptures, man. It's all in it. All right, so understand these differences. Okay, don't be like this Jake. Okay, where he talked all that talk, and then when it got to the point where his wits could not deliver him out of it, he folded to the devil. Don't be like, don't listen to Captain Tazariak when he tells you, I'm going to take the jab, so that people don't be afraid. That's not the measures you're supposed to take. You're supposed to use the scriptures to boost the faith, all right, so that people can be brave, all right. So with that, I hope brothers and sisters will edify. I didn't mean for this to be too long. 25 minutes I didn't mean it to be that long, but I hope edification goes out to the brothers that are listening in truth and sincerity. To the sisters that are listening in truth and sincerity, I want to say shalom. Yahweh Shema Shah Brakatha. I hope I hope I was able to get my point across. I hope the Spirit brought the point across. And may the blessing of election be upon all our houses, man. May Yahweh Shema Shah deliver us, man. Whenever it gets to the point where our wits and our resources cannot deliver us, our strength can't deliver us, we trust in Yahweh Shema Shah will deliver us. Okay, so with that, until the next one, I want to say shalom. All right, shalom. I'm not wild at shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yashai Barakatha. The water. It's all through the Spirit. All right, shalom.